another video and welcome to Sammy G's World of Cinema. Today on the channel I'm going to continue on with my Wes Anderson film series, basically going through all of Wes Anderson's filmography and individually reviewing each of his films as the list goes on. And the last film I reviewed of his, I believe, was The Life Aquatic with Steve Zissou. That was last month, I think it was. So, being a bit overdue, guys, to tap back into this series, but we're here now. So, let's crack on with it, with, reviewing Wes Anderson's fifth directorial film, and that is the Darjeeling Limited, which came out 2007, directed by the man himself, with Mr. Wes Anderson, starring Owen Wilson, Adrian Brody and Jason Schwartzman. Now there is a prologue film, 13-minute long. I think this might be the only Wes Anderson film which has a short film is a bit of a companion piece, if you like. So in this case it's Hotel Chevalier. Sorry guys, I probably fucked up that name there, apologies about that, but that's basically about Jason Schwartzman and Natalie Portman, and that you kind of see them reunited in this hotel in Paris, and basically that is explained yet again. It kind of expanded a little bit upon in the actual film itself, the Darjeeling Limited, which is about three brothers, played by our three main leads in here, and they agreed to meet in India for a kind of a brotherhood, spiritual holiday, and through this luxurious, beautiful, train, going across India, exploring culture and wide open spaces, and just soaking up the surroundings around them, exploring, as I say, the cultural side of India, and kind of what the scenic places and that have got to offer. And and also along with this, they are in agreement to be reunited with their mother, played by Angelica Houston, in the Himalayas as well. And and then you kind of find that one of the characters has got some Adrian Brody's character has got something big life-changing news to share. You hear about also one guy and his kind of relationship is on a bit of a decline there as well, and Owen Wilson's character, Adrian Brody's character's got some life-changing news to share. Jason Schwartzman's kind of relationship is going on a little bit of a decline there with, I think, his girlfriend, and Owen Wilson's character, I think he's called Francis or Jack. Apologies about that. I forgot to jot down these names here, guys. I'll put these names up in here. Sorry, guys, that was so unprofessional of me, that was. But, basically, he has he has suffered, a severe head injury there, and he's on that little bit of road to recovery. So each of the three brothers have got their own sort of each of their situations going on, and they kind of just want to put their minds at ease and kind of just sort of just go on this absolute spiritual journey, across obviously India, and just to have a wonderful reunion there. So the Darjeeling Limited, I think, is one of Wes Anderson's underrated films, to be honest. I don't hear as many people talk about this as the same heights as you've got your Grand Budapest Hotels, you've got your Fantastic Mr. Foxes, you've got your Royal Tenenbaums, you've got your Life Aquatics. This doesn't get talked about, I think, as much as those other films there, and I totally get it, because it's kind of a bit of a hidden gem almost in Wes Anderson's filmography. I don't think this has kind of got the similar, it's not as got I think it doesn't have that it doesn't have the same sort of style as kind of like Wes Anderson's other films. There are a couple of Wes Anderson's tropes in here. Obviously, you've got the beautiful, like, you know, sort of colour scheme on the carriages on this luxurious train. And yeah, I just again loved that they kind of did this again here, where they just went focused on carriage to carriage, and you know, like each character as well, and you know, like there'd be like yellow wallpaper, and then there'll be some other wallpaper. Yeah, I just love that in a Wes Anderson movie. It's one of my favorite, like, sort of parts of it's one of my favorite sort of like tropes in a Wes Anderson movie, to put it in a better term there. But yeah, I think this is a great little film, this, guys. I just think that, you know, like, you kind of focus on like the you know, the characters are just, they're kind of a bit lost in themselves almost. They don't really know where they're kind of not as enthusiastic as much as they want to be, and you kind of learn why along the way. But I gotta say, guys, I just think this was the perfect setting for this. You know, I think there was just some beautiful scenic views in this part of India. And yeah, like there was, this was like a film of like two halves as well, where the first half of the film, you kind of focus on, I think, is it Jack Francis? I'm forgetting the other guy's name now, guys. Massive apologies about that. Like I say, I'll put the three names on the screen there. But yeah, basically, they're kind of not as enthusiastic as they hope to be, kind of, when they kind of reunited after a year. But they are just, you know, like, they're kind of just struggling with what's happened before, and they kind of just, you know, like, they're kind of grieving with this, and you know, and they're also deeply saddened that like their mother couldn't attend to the funeral, and they kind of want to learn more about that as well. So yeah, there's kind of a bit of a whirlpool of emotions going on here. I think, to be honest, if I could compare this to another film, it probably would be the film A Real Pain that came out last year. I think, you know, like, there's kind of some similar aspects there in terms of, like, you know, kind of emotional beats and that. So if there's another film I'm going to, like, compare this to, it probably would be A Real Pain. They're kind of, like, going through a bit of a similar thing, and they're kind of just there to accompany each other. So it kind of just reminded me a little bit of that there. But yeah, I thought, again, the first half of the film is probably my favorite part of the movie, where we just focus, like, they're kind of on, again, like I say, sounding like a bit of a broken record here, guys, but when they are going through you know, like, these certain parts of, like, India, but then they're kind of still on this train. And yeah, by the way, I've got to say as well, I absolutely loved, like, the look of the train as well. Yeah, like, like, it just, again, it was a great design to this one. Also, like, the staff as well, that had, like, this sort of, like, red uniform and that to go along with, like, the wallpaper and that. Yeah, I just think that was such a great like decision from Wes Anderson's sort of, like, vision there. Yeah, but a really good decision there indeed. And also, yeah, I think this, also then the second half of the film, you see there is a little bit of a transition, a little bit of a 180, but, and I think I've got to say the first half of the film is the strongest part of the film, but the second half of the film, it kind of flips it on its head, sort of thing, but yet it keeps you engaged with kind of what's going on, like, when are they going to eventually get to, you know, like, the Himalayas there. And yeah, like, the scene, like, where they're around, like, the campfire, and they're kind of having a real deep, intimate, you know, like, a meaningful conversation. That was probably one of the highlights right there in the second half of the movie. But also like there was again like the one scene where they're kind of just trailing like by this river, and they spot, oh, something's like not quite right here, and they kind of team together to kind of like sort of show that they really are caring for what's happened here by the rivers. I won't spoil what happens there, guys, and just in case you haven't seen it, but yeah, something drastic does come into the second half of the movie, and yeah, that's kind of where you really see the brothers are, you know, like kind of being there for each other, like more than ever kind of in that scene. But you get other like intimate sort of like scenes there as well. But yeah, I think again, one scene where you kind of focus on a few flashbacks as well, and it kind of really just, it does deal with them emotions. It tackles that really well, and also, you know, like kind of learning about the last time that these three brothers were like together and that, and I think, yeah, Wes Anderson did a good move there, because I think there's not, I cannot remember like another Wes Anderson movie where there's something kind of like, you know, the main premise, but then you focus on the flashbacks from like a character's sort of like point of view and how it brings it all back to present day. I don't think, on top of my head right now, guys, I don't, other than maybe some Grand Budapest Hotel, possibly Moonrise Kingdom, I think this might be, actually, sorry, I'm chatting shit there, guys. Apologies. No, there has been actually more than one occasion where this has happened, where there has been like, you'd have flashback sequences and then it kind of compares itself to present day. So yeah, but this doesn't happen throughout the film, by the way, guys. It's kind of just more segued and filters into like that second half of the movie, where you kind of closer to like meeting its final destination in this film. Also, I really liked the side story with Jason Schwartzman. Yeah, when he has like that side story, kind of like he has a bit of a brief love interest in this movie, and yeah, that was kind of probably one of the highlights of that movie as well. She's a British actress as well, and yeah, she's I believe she was in an episode of Doctor Who, and she was also called Rita in that episode of Doctor Who, so that was a sheer coincidence, but that was a good side plot right there. And yeah, like again, I love sort of like the score as well. I think the score just really just went hand in hand with, you know, like there'd be one scene where all the three main leads would just be on like a motorcycle there, and yeah, and it's kind of, you're really sort of like engrossed with what's happening there. It's kind of also like a bit of a holiday movie, this one. It would fall into that category of like really just great travel movies as well. It would fall into that bracket. But yeah, I love this film. I've got a bit of a soft spot for the Darjeeling Limited. I think it is an underrated Wes Anderson film, and you know, like it kind of does deal with some serious themes, but there is a bit of you know, there is a few moments here and there that's very uplifting, and it's got a bit of a comical feel about it. There's one particular scene where something is missing on the train and they're trying to track it down as well. And the ticket guard is just having none of it. Oh, that was quite funny. But there's one scene as well where they would just be absolutely fighting each other, like on like this carriage. And yeah, that again, it was just, it kind of did make me chuckle there a little bit. And one scene where I think oh yeah, where he's getting I think, was it Francis that was getting like his shoes polished, and then basically someone just runs off with his shoe and then they've got to try and track it down. So yeah, that there are a couple of my like sort of, I would say kind of, there are some of like the kind of comical aspects of the movie I would highlight there. But yeah, I'm just thinking there was again, I think you don't have to necessarily watch the short film before this. I think when I watched this again, because it was a couple of years ago when I last watched this, I just watched this film on its own accord, really, and it still works. But yeah, I think the next time I probably would watch the short film Hotel Chevalier before watching this. Also, guys, I've got to give a massive shout out to the soundtrack in here as well. Again, Wes Anderson movies just do not fail in terms of like their soundtrack as well. Like, you know, you can tell this man is a massive fan of either the Kinks or the Rolling Stones. You know, like the Stones, they kind of get a lot of love in like Wes Anderson's filmography here, and like I said, the score that really just enhances with like, you know, that scenic and, you know, the culture. I just loved all of that as well, and yeah, and also, yeah, just, again, like when you get to meet Angelica Houston as well, kind of in that brief screen time, yeah, that was a really good, like, a reunion there. So it is quite a family-driven drama in some ways, but I think again, Wes Anderson does do this really well, because obviously he does a really smashing job with like family reunions and family driven story, and yeah, this is just well captured here yet again here. So yeah, Darjeeling Limited, this film I think is got better on each viewing. To be honest, I did really enjoy it the first time I watched this, but I think on each viewing, a bit like Rushmore, Bottle Rocket, I think this has also got better with each viewing, and it's kind of one of his less sort of like, you know, like artsy or maybe he's left field sort of like movies, kind of like there where he kind of goes all out with the kind of like the stylistic side of a Wes Anderson movie. This is one of his more like grounded pieces here, but I think again it just works on its own accords there. So, and also great to see a brief cameo from Bill Murray as well. Probably my favorite character in the movie would also actually have to be because I love Owen Wilson, but I actually do like Adrian Brody's character. One scene that's just come back to mind is when he tells off these two ladies as well when they're too loud, and yeah, that I really did enjoy as well. So yeah, the Darjeeling Limited, great movie, guys, and I think again this is kind of would be a great starting point if you're new to Wes Anderson's filmography. I think this is a great, again, introductionary piece there. So yeah, excellent film, and there's just again a lot of heart and emotional beats there, and ends on a uplifting ending as well. So yep, and yeah, like I say, the soundtrack's banging. It's just a very good film here. So the Darjeeling Limited, I'm gonna give an 8 out of 10 there. So another very good Wes Anderson movie, and there are just good, it only just gets better and better with like the next few movies to come along here. So yep, very excited to talk about those in the future on the channel as well. So guys, do let me know your thoughts on the Darjeeling Limited. Have you got any favorite Wes Anderson films? I would love to know all of that good stuff in the comments down below, guys, and I hope everyone is having a wonderful kickstart to the week as well. So thanks for watching, cheers for stopping by, and until next time, I'll see you for the next video. Bye bye.